PM chairs urgent online meeting from South Africa on flood response in central region.
Trump says Ukraine peace plan isn't his final offer.
Expectations from HPV. Rota vaccines available for free in National Immunization Program.
Hello everyone, you're watching today's news on NTV channel. My name is Dan. Let's get started. Amid the severe flood damage, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, currently in South Africa for the G20 summit, held an emergency zone-like meeting early on November 23rd with leaders from ministries and local authorities to discuss the situation and urgent measure for responding to the floods and natural disasters in several central provinces.
In recent days, heavy rains and floods in the provinces and cities of Da Nang, Gia Lai, Dak Lak, Khan Hoa, and Lam Dong have been causing very heavy damage to people and property. The leaders of the party, state and government regularly monitor the situation closely, resolutely direct ministries, branches, and localities to promptly implement plans to prevent and respond to natural disasters, and promptly be present in localities that have suffered heavy damage to inspect and direct the work of overcoming, providing relief, and supporting the stabilization of people's lives. According to official reports, the floods have resulted in 102 deaths or missing persons, destroyed more than 150 homes, submerged nearly 186,000 houses. Preliminary estimates put total losses at over trillion VND. The party, government, PM, and ministries, sector, and localities have continued to make great efforts to respond to and overcome the consequences of floods.
U.S. President Donald Trump said on Saturday that his administration's peace plan to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict is not the final proposal for Ukraine.
To forgive Congresswoman Taylor Greene.
Responding to the reporters, Trump said that if Ukrainian President Zelensky does not agree with the peace plan, he can continue to fight to the end. Earlier this week, Trump said that he wanted President Zelensky to accept the peace plan before Thanksgiving. Key points of the proposal include allowing Russia to control more Ukrainian territory than it currently has, forcing Ukraine to limit the size of its army and pledging to never join NATO. Ukrainian lawmakers have criticized the plan as offering too many concessions to Russian demands, although the Trump administration said the 28-point plan was drafted in consultation with both sides in the conflict.
South Africa Ministers of International Relations and Cooperation said that the adoption of the G20 Summit Declaration in Johannesburg is a victory for the multilateralism.
Lamola also stated that this is a step towards building bridges with nations in the global south. The G20 summit, attended by many world leaders, adopted the joint declaration on the first day of the meeting, calling for peace in many nations and regions around the world, as well as measures to protect the global supply of essential minerals. Specifically, G20 leaders called for the resolution of conflicts in Ukraine, Sudan, Palestine, and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Coming up next are some updated news.
As Vietnam grapples with extensive damage caused by recent storms and prolonged flooding, especially in the Central and Central Highlands regions, the international community has offered emergency assistance to help the country overcome the crisis. The Korean government announced an emergency aid package worth $1 million to be channeled through IOM Vietnam to support storm response activities. The UK Embassy in Hanoi announced an additional humanitarian aid package worth GBP 300,000 for flood-hit areas in central Vietnam. During a meeting with National Assembly Chairman Tran Thanh Man, Czech Senate President Milos Vystrčil, on behalf of the Czech government, donated an amount equivalent to 3.5 billion VND to support the Vietnamese people to overcome the consequences of storms and floods. Previously, the U.S. provided emergency aid of $500,000 to support Vietnam to overcome the consequences of storms. The New Zealand government also announced humanitarian aid of $1 million New Zealand dollars, about 15 billion VND.
the Ho Chi Minh City Department of Culture and Sports has just held the opening ceremony of the Ho Chi Minh City International Martial Arts Festival 2025, with the theme Vietnamese Martial Arts, Connecting for Peace. This year's festival gathered more than 1,000 martial artists, coaches, and students, including 7 international delegations from South Korea, China, Thailand, the Philippines, Indonesia, India, and Japan. On the opening night, the delegations performed many special acts, such as multi-sectoral performances, fist weapons, martial music, and technical exchanges. The performances not only introduced the diversity of martial arts schools, but also conveyed the message of peace, friendship, and honoring the quintessence of martial arts.
Vietnamese film Red Rain is on the list of 86 feature films eligible for the Best International Film Award at the 2026 Oscars. This is the announcement of the 98th Oscars Organizing Committee. The inclusion of Vietnam's Red Rain in the list of 86 international feature films not only shows the increasingly clear stature of Vietnamese cinema, but also continues to affirm the position of Southeast Asia in the Oscar arena. Entering the fierce competition round, the film Red Rain will continue its journey in the voting round to select the top 15 best films, an important screening round that reflects the direct assessment of the members of the organizing committee. The official nominations will be announced on January 22, 2026. The official nominations will be announced on January 22, 2026. The 98th Academy Awards will be held on March 15, 2026 in the U.S.
According to the government's plan, starting in 2026, the HPV and Rota vaccines will be officially added to the National Expanded Immunization Program for eligible children. This is an important step to increase vaccination coverage and protect children and teenagers from infectious diseases that greatly affect public health.
The 9-year-old daughter of Ms. Tran Thi Hong has just entered the age group eligible for the HPV vaccine. However, due to tight finances, Ms. Hong cannot afford the cost, which ranges from 3 to 5 million VND, Vietnamese dong, to vaccinate her child.
I have many children, so I don't have the money to vaccinate my daughter. I would be so happy if it were free now. It would give me more peace of mind.
Previously, starting in 2024, Nghệ An was one of the provinces early implementing the Rota vaccine for free use for children aged 0 to 6 months, which received great support from parents. Meanwhile, the HPV vaccine is considered a crucial step to reduce the incidence of cervical cancer, one of the most common cancers among Vietnamese women. Therefore, this announcement is eagerly awaited by many mothers.
The government provides conditions for children to receive free vaccinations, because getting them outside is very expensive, and many families who can't afford it aren't able to vaccinate their children.
In Vietnam, after 44 years of implementation, the expanded program on immunization is evaluated as the most effective preventative measure against dangerous infectious diseases. The program currently provides 12 types of free vaccines to prevent 11 common infectious diseases for children and pregnant women. The decision to add the HPV and Rota vaccines to the program demonstrates the government's commitment to the health of the entire population, especially children. Mothers with daughters are always concerned about vaccinating their children against cervical cancer. The health clinic also advised parents that the government has a policy to include the HPV vaccine in the free immunization program, but the roadmap for implementation is still awaiting instruction from higher authorities. According to the roadmap, starting from 2026, the Rota vaccine will be deployed nationwide. For the HPV vaccine, deployment will first take place in 4 provinces representing different regions, prioritizing disadvantaged areas. These provinces include Tuy Quang, Quang Ngai, Dak Lak, and Vinh Long. It is estimated that during the 2026-2028 period, approximately 18,000 children will gain access to this new vaccine each year.
This is the end of the show today. Thank you for watching.